everyone, thanks so much for joining me. I hope you are all warmed up and ready for this standing balance practice. We're going to be doing Crescent Lunge to Eagle, Tree Pose to Temple, and Dancer Pose. And then we'll kind of see what sort of weaves itself in between. We'll go ahead and get started on the mat. So with the Crescent Lunge, you just want to start out with your feet, the center lines of the feet, parallel. You could always be near a wall. Okay, and I'm just kind of checking in with how are you distributing the weight across your feet, and getting a sense of it, getting a sense of length. And then I'm going to start with my right leg. So shifting my weight to the right here, shifting my weight to the right, step your left foot back. And then scooch it back until when you bend your right knee, you have it, it's stacked. Okay, and then just root across the feet. And really try to lift up out of the ankles, out of the knees, out of the hips, lengthening the spine. So I imagine that my back heel is up at a wall, pushing into that wall and receiving information, pulling energy up. Lengthening the spine. Here, just reaching the arms up. You can interlace fingers, maybe press palms, but just find length and space. So we want to keep the length and space within the body, even as we go into standing on one foot, okay? So lengthen. I'm going to go ahead and come into eagle arms here, taking that right arm underneath and around the left, maybe stopping it, holding on to opposite shoulders, okay? Or intertwining, okay, in some way, elbows, arms, but head of the arm bones are back, really lengthen the spine, lifting up, maybe adding back bend. Okay, breathe. We're going to shift, so you might push off, push. We're going to be taking that left leg, okay, around the right. Maybe seamlessly, maybe not. Okay, but intertwining in some way. Okay, intertwining arms. Head of the arm bones back, head of the thigh bones and the hip joints, and really lengthen the spine and breathe. In that right foot, trying to lighten the arch. Okay, lighten the arch of the foot. Breathe and breathe and breathe. And then unwind the legs. I'm just going to step it down. Unwind the arms. In between sides, I'm going to take a forward fold with the arms back behind. Okay, so just to open up. So center lines the feet parallel. Lift the heart. Reach if that works. Okay, so always be mindful of what works for your arms, your shoulders. On your exhale, fold forward nice and gentle. Okay, being mindful of how you feel. Lengthening the spine. Still rooting across the feet. Opening the heart. Lengthening the torso, continuing to breathe. Releasing any tension in the neck. So I love to do a forward fold in between each side in eagle pose, just to reaffirm opening the heart, which we're trying to maintain in the pose, but it's definitely challenged. Come up midway, lengthen. Send seat back, bend the knees, sweep the arms forward and up. Reach, and come all the way up. Exhale, release. So side two. So left foot's going to stay forward. Okay, I have my feet already a little bit apart because when you come into Crescent Lunge, you want your feet still kind of in those parallel lines, not like you're on a tightrope. Okay, so shifting the weight to the left, stepping the right foot back. Okay, and then scooching it back even further if you need. Making sure that the knee stacks over the heel. Okay, right foot might feel like, and maybe use that reference like your heel is at a wall and really pull energy up, creating space in the joints, appropriate effort in the muscles, and maybe deepening the bend. Lengthening, lifting up the low belly, lengthening through the sides, through the back, reaching the arms overhead, taking your right grip, okay? Or just having the hands parallel to one another. Really create space, length, breath. Good. And then lengthen. Now we're going to take that left arm, okay, underneath and around. Okay, being even as much as you can in between sides. Okay, so thigh bones deep, arm bones deep, lengthen, maybe a little bit of a back bend here. Breathe for length and space. Okay, still rooting across the feet, pulling energy up. I'm going to come back to neutral here. Shift, shift, shift. So, or push, push, push. So you can shift your weight forward, taking that right leg from back behind, around. Okay, so head of the arm bones back, head of the thigh bones back, lengthen the spine. Smooth, deep breaths, maybe exploring depth here. Okay, but more important here for me is space in the joints, lengthen the muscles. Okay, space for the breath. Good. Unwind to Tadasana. Okay, unwind. Releasing. Taking the arms back behind, maybe interlacing fingers. I'm going to move away from my little table there. Open the heart. On your exhale, hinge forward. And just breathe and explore this space. Keep growing longer. Peek at your feet. Make sure they're still centered. The center lines of each foot, okay? Center lines are parallel to each other. Thigh muscles are engaged. Drawing energy upward. Lightening the ankles, the knees, the hips. And allowing us to find length in the spine. Come up midway. Send the seat back, bend the knees. Transitioning through Utkatasana, through chair pose. And come all the way up. Exhale to release. Okay, crescent lunge to eagle. Moving into, so those are hip stabilizers, moving into more hip openers in tree, okay, and temple. So again, just setting up mountain pose. I'm gonna go ahead and start with softening the knees. Try to mirror. So I'm going to shift here. We're going to open up the right leg, pretending that that knee is up at a wall to give you a sense of lightness. Okay, so the foot could stay on the ground. You go to the shin calf or inner thigh. Just avoid placing it right on the knee itself. Okay, and partner the legs. Draw energy up in toward the midline. Lengthen the spine. Smooth, deep breaths. Your standing leg could be bent or straight. And transition here into temple pose. So as you transition into temple, we will be bending that standing leg, sending the seat back, okay? And taking that right foot across, okay? Sending the seat back, 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 lengthening the spine and trying to make sure the hips aren't going to swing. Okay, so if it's a hip opener, we want to feel that we're creating that space. Hands can come together at the heart. Smooth, deep breath. So we're still active in both feet, drawing energy up out of the ankles, out of the knees, out of the hips, lengthening the spine, and yet maintaining or enhancing the space between the ears and the shoulders. Good. And then carefully coming up, releasing. Okay. And again, let's take a forward fold in between sides. It's just kind of a nice neutral check-in. Okay, so reaching arms overhead or out to the sides. Exhale, smooth breaths. We lower down. Checking in with the feet. Lengthening the spine. Creating space between the ears and the shoulders. Engaging effectively for space. Good. Coming up midway, lengthen. Exhale, send the seat back, bending the knees, sweeping the arms. Good. On your next inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, release. Okay. So same two poses, other side. Soften the knees. Okay, opening up. Okay, so we're trying to open up hip, knee, ankle, all in the same line. The standing leg can start out bent even while you're in tree pose. Okay, placing your left foot. Okay, trying to be even between sides, but always being safe. Focus on safety first. Lengthen. Okay, space. Hands can come together at the heart, and you're just finding length. And I imagine, okay, the knee is pushing into a wall to encourage more space and breath. Good. Transitioning into temple pose, sending the seat back, deepening the bend in the knee. Okay. Crossing here and yet still keeping the foot flexed. Finding that right placement, okay, for your ankle, foot, So you can keep the ankle nice and neutral. Sending the seat back, really creating space. Hands can come together anytime at the heart. Head of the arm bones and the shoulder joints, thigh bones and hip joints, and then lift up out of the joints. Create space. One more, smooth, deep breath. Just find length, grow longer. And release, release, nice and careful. Good, one more time here. Forward fold, preparing for our dancer pose. So before we go into this forward fold, maybe get a little bit more of a back bend into this. Root across the feet. Really lengthen. Here you choose your right entry into forward fold. I'm gonna lift, lift, lift. Exhale. Lengthen as you hinge. Smoothing out the back of the neck. Couple breaths right here. Just root across the feet. Peek down, make sure center lines are still parallel, and then really engage, pulling energy upward, lengthening the spine. One more smooth, deep breath. Come up midway. I would love to pass through chair pose. Sending the seat back, bending the knees, making sure parallel lines are still consistent, lengthening. Okay, reaching the arms, inhale to come all the way up. Exhale, hands lowering. Okay, for dancer pose, you might decide you want to have a strap to help connect hand and foot. Okay, but still we have those parallel lines. Shifting the weight, I'm going to shift my weight to the left, opening up the right. Okay, so taking your right grip, whether it's with this, the palm open, or more of a neutral position for the arm. Okay, I'm going to go into this external rotation, keeping the legs still in those parallel lines. Okay, at least initially, we're going to try to keep that lifted knee in, okay, and then extend the left arm, really pull energy up, lengthen, and then kick back. So thinking about this half bow pose, okay, or dancer pose, okay, but still space in the ankles, the knees, the hips, the spine, the heart, shoulders, neck. That right hip's gonna wanna hike up. Don't let it. Keep pulling energy up in toward the midline, growing longer, breathing. And releasing, okay? Good, I'm gonna go right into side two. Okay, just turning here so you can see. So center lines, okay, parallel, lengthen, choosing your right grip, trying to be consistent between sides, okay, catching, okay, pulling that energy in toward the midline. So you're drawing it up, in toward the midline, and yet, okay, still feeling expansive, not gripping. We're gonna kick back, extend the other arm, and yet pull in. So it's a push-pull partnership, okay, with a sense of balance and breath, lightening the load in the ankles, the knees, the hips, creating space in the spine, breathing. Standing leg could be bent or straight. Good, one more. Smooth, deep breath, lengthen behind the neck. And then come back to the center. Good, and releasing. Let's do one more forward fold. Just kind of check in. Okay, so center lines of the feet parallel. You choose, okay, your right positioning with your arms, but inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold forward. Release tension in the neck. Still pull energy up. Lengthen the spine. Create space in the legs to lengthen the spine. Create space around the heart, around the neck. Maybe moving the chest, checking in with the neck here. Just another breath or so. Good. Coming to the center here, coming up midway. Okay, hands to thighs, send your seat back, bend the knees. Make sure center lines are parallel, really lengthen. Pause here. Maybe bring one or both hands to low belly. Draw it up. One hand on the low belly, one hand on the heart. Lift it up. Then bring one or both hands behind your head around that occipital spot. Okay, and really, as the arm bones are in the shoulder joints, really create length at the back of the neck. A breath here. And inhale, come all the way up. Exhale to release. I hope you've enjoyed this standing balance pose. Feel free to choose another practice or a restorative option to complete your practice. I hope you feel good and have a wonderful day. Namaste.